Okay guys, back down to Carbon Car Systems. Today we're going to run you through a new review from these Thinkware dash cameras. So this is a new product that most people don't know about, and I'll get you to zoom in here. This is an infrared camera. Now this is actually a cabin camera that's going to face inside the cabin of the vehicle. Now this is really cool for you guys that are Uber drivers or driver training schools or even taxi drivers, because now you can monitor inside your cabin just for your own peace of mind. Now, a couple of things with this infrared camera, it's going to give you that night vision inside because of these infrared LEDs, but the way it's going to work is on these front cameras. So it's designed to work with the F800, the F770, F750, also the X550 and the X500. It's actually going to take up the rear camera slot. So this is the micro USB where typically you would run your rear camera into, but now this one's going to take that place. It's going to come with a short cable, and if you were to mount it on your windscreen, so that would typically be in your front windscreen, this little cabin camera is going to mount on the front and face inside. So that will give you complete coverage for the front of your vehicle and inside the cabin. Now it's a little bit of a letdown that you're actually going to use this existing slot, but it's kind of cool that you can add it onto any existing camera that you have. Now, to be aware, there is two different versions of this camera. Because Thinkware have a cheaper range or a more affordable range, which is your F100, which is their basic HD camera. So we'll give you a quick look at that. You need to be aware that there's two different versions. So this is the F100 front camera. Very, very cool little camera. It has a 3.5mm jack for the rear camera that is typically there. Now they do make another part number. It's called an F100IR for infrared. That is exactly the same, but just a different cable. Okay, so be aware there is two different models if you're adding this to an existing camera. We are going to bundle them separately on our website, but that's something you need to be aware of. Now, the bit of a letdown that it is taking the rear camera, to get around that, what we suggest is you can actually, if you had an F800 set up like this for interior cabin, you could actually add this F100 to the rear of the car as well. So that way you get complete vehicle coverage. So that is another way. You're not going to spend too much money. You're going to get the front of the car, the rear of the car, and inside, all in full HD. So that's a very good way to go. So that itself is the product in a nutshell. So it's very, very cool. The part number for the USB version is CABCAMIR. So CABCAMIR. Price-wise, they're going to be about $199 retail in Australia for the USB version. The 3.5mm jack version is $150 retail in Australia. And what we're going to do is we're going to put up a video later today, or on the end of this, we're going to tack on some footage from the night vision from that infrared camera. So I'm going to use this today in my car, and we're going to load that up onto the end of this video, or we might put it in a separate video to give you a look at the footage that it produces. So that should be very, very cool. But there you go guys, a couple of different options for you. If you're an Uber driver, definitely a good way to go, and something that's not really available across the range in other dash cameras on the market. So I think we're really listened on that one. They also have another version coming out, which is coming out shortly, for the F100, that is actually a waterproof rear camera. So that's actually going to be for you guys that have utes or tray bags if you still want to get that rear coverage. So stay tuned when we release that as well. But if not, check out our other reviews on the cameras on our YouTube, Carbon Car Systems. Here's a quick little add-on for you guys. We were trying to add this to an F770 to run the rear camera, so to give you some footage, because that's what I'm running in my car. Now, the cable they give you is not a right angle cable. It's a straight in micro USB. So on the F770, this cover's not going to go back on. Now that's not going to be a problem on the F750 or any of the other cameras or the F800, but on this one it is. So for those of you that want this camera on this model, you have to make sure you're going to order a right angle USB for this this section of it. So it's just a micro USB, so it's very, very generic. You can get that yourselves. Hopefully they'll fix that in the near future, but just be aware of that. All right, so now we're going to load this up and put some footage up. Okay, so here we are in the car, guys. This is how it is actually going to mount inside the vehicle. So you're actually going to want to mount it with the camera to the right-hand side, and while you're driving, it will have these little lights on, okay? So they're a little bit distracting, but I guess red doesn't ruin night vision, so that's not going to be such an issue. But you're going to have two cameras. You can mount them a little bit different, but I've got other things on the car, and that's going to be how it will sit and run in the vehicle. So pretty cool, pretty small. All right guys, so here we are in the car. So this is the infrared camera actually operating now during daylight time. So we're going to show you this footage right now. Now, something to be aware of, this footage angle is 140 degree angle, And another thing in terms of legalities, if you're going to film inside the vehicle or film passengers in your vehicle, you need to make them aware that you are actually recording them, because you cannot legally use it without making them aware that they are being recorded inside a cabin without their permission, okay, or at least their knowledge. So advisable, if you do have a camera inside your car, put a sticker up saying you're recording, just to make sure you're not going to get in trouble. If you're really unsure, make them aware of it. And again, there is an obligation if you're going to have sound on these Thinkware dash cameras and use them. All right, so there we are, guys. We are in the cabin. We have our stereo on, which is going to be about as much light we're going to have in the cabin. We have the window light coming in, which is a fraction, but completely infrared. So hope that gives you an idea of the footage you're actually going to get, which is really, really cool. We're going to put up some footage on our YouTube channel of the new dash cameras, the F800, the rear as well, and the F770, so you can compare that if you'd like to see that as well.